What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. On a daily basis, I always analyze the data points, what's really influencing it, and often enough I do bring up shorts. And because shorts do play a very big part in NIO moving up, down, sideways, so I often get a lot of questions, when will shorts leave? So that's the basis of this video. So when will shorts F off? So I want to go over what could potentially cause that and when that might occur for NIO. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. And actually, on a side note, happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there. So eat a lot, drink a lot, do what you need to do, so party hard. But with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off with NIO, NIO's stock price hasn't necessarily been the best. A couple of different attributing factors to that, but during this last month and a half, or more so since beginning of November, there hasn't been all that much in catalysts to really drive it higher. And so essentially short's been taking advantage of that and really suppressing NIO. So generally you can kind of see based on this chart, kind of the September low was 12.15% of the free float being shorted. So shorts have been really confident, and this is abnormal. So I covered quite a few different stocks. Many of them are very heavily shorted, and during this same time period, shorts have been returning shares. So with NIO, they feel very, very confident, and there's a lot of issues to that. Like I said in the past, it's just lack of institutions really getting into NIO, so that does mean that NIO shorts make up a good amount of the volume, so meaning they can do what they want. But even on Friday, they did increase net 2.33 million shares, 15.5% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 207.07 million shares. So essentially, the question is, when will they F off? And ultimately, there is one very good example of a heavily shorted stock where shorts eventually just naturally left. There wasn't any crazy mother of all short squeeze scenario, they just naturally left, and that is Tesla. So for those of you that have been kind of investing or following Tesla during its fun progress for the last several years, you would know that Elon often enough tweeted and hated shorts, because if we kind of look back over here, there was a high of roughly 32.6% of the free float being shorted, and it might actually even be a little bit higher than that. No, that kind of looks like it. But regardless, you can kind of see just shorts were all over Tesla. Right now, only 2.72% of the free float is being shorted, and that's kind of normal based on a lot of large cap stocks, just kind of sub 3%. So essentially not a squeeze play, and you can kind of see just generally there was no crazy spikes, so there was no mother of all short squeezes. They just naturally left as Tesla did obtain profitability. So as you can kind of see, 2020 was the very first year where they were net positive. And then of course, since then, every single year seems to just blow up even more. But this is ultimately where NIO and just many other stocks out there, once they do obtain profitability, shorts will just naturally leave. And so NIO is more of an interesting scenario. So of course, I don't think they're going to be obtaining profitability up until I think it's quoted or estimated to be late 2026. So let's use that as a benchmark. And even comparing it to Tesla, for instance, Tesla was actually a lot more heavily shorted than NIO as of current circumstances, at this time period in their life cycle, comparing it to Tesla. So right now, like I said, 15% short interest, or 15.5. Yes, it is daunting for NIO and obviously very frustrating, but in comparison to what Tesla was, it's very, very small. And that's because NIO does produce quite a lot more than Tesla did during that same time period equivalently. So 2019, 2018. So when it comes down to it, yes, NIO has it bad, especially given the circumstances in the broader market, but most likely once they do obtain profitability 2026 or kind of transitioning into that, then this is where you'll see shorts just naturally F off. And it might actually be sooner than 2026 because Tesla did obtain profitability in 2020. So logically, you started to see them return roughly June in 2019. So ultimately, maybe 1 year prior, so 2025 might be a good transition year for NIO, especially based on their last earnings and a lot of the bold predictions that they did give for 2025. I think that might be, assuming they can live up to those expectations, that might be that pivot point where shorts just start to naturally leave. So long story short, it's honestly, I think there's a couple of things that's really affecting NIO behind the scenes that shorts are able to pounce and do a lot of damage to NIO, and a lot of that just stems to geopolitical issues and whatever else. But once a company does obtain profitability, this is where what happens operationally will more in line with the stock price, because I think a lot of us can kind of assume and just agree on the fact that NIO stock price, if you're going to compare like NIO to pretty much any American EV out there, like on a PS ratio standpoint, night and day difference. So if you kind of compare even NIO and Lucid, NIO should be now at roughly about $16 to $17 using, again, the PS ratio. So it is largely discounted, but once they do kind of move towards profitability, this is where I think just the stock price will align a little bit more with what they do operationally. So this is just my quick video on pretty much what is happening behind the scenes with NIO, shorts, and when they will really just vacate the premises. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Hopefully everyone's having a good day off and all the other fun jazz. One final thing I do want to share with you though, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, and a lot of them have been absolute bangers. So pop over there, take a look at that. Link in the description below and the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.